Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, June 29th, 2017. Fire potential impacts continue mainly just for today for some wind across southern and southeast Utah and some isolated wet thunderstorms over portions of northeast Idaho and western Wyoming. After today, the next chance for some impacts come on Saturday to Sunday, as we may see some isolated thunderstorms move into portions of the Great Basin. Some showers and thunderstorms moved through eastern Idaho and western Wyoming yesterday. New fires continue to pop up yesterday in the wake of some of those storms earlier in the week, and firefighting efforts seem to have been pretty effective for most of the new initial attack this week. The Brine Head fire in southern Utah continues to be very active under these hot, dry, and gusty conditions. Current ERC values continue to be very high across much of the southern Great Basin, with a few sites reporting above the 97th percentile. Values further north are lower, between the 50th to 70th percentile, and still some sites coming in below the 50th percentile over the higher elevations of central Idaho and western Wyoming. This morning's satellite imagery shows generally sunny skies in place across much of the Great Basin, with a little bit of moisture moving into eastern Idaho. There's a large area of high pressure in place across the southwest U.S. This will keep temperatures fairly warm over especially western Nevada. Temperatures have decreased somewhat over the eastern Great Basin in the wake of that area of low pressure that's moving through the northern Rockies. Today, flow will be out of the west to northwest across the eastern Great Basin, contributing to some of those cooler temperatures for today and tomorrow, while temperatures remain elevated over western and southern Great Basin, closer to that area of high pressure. High-risk triggers have been issued for southern and southeast Utah for those continued gusty winds. Winds will gust up to 25 to 30 miles an hour this afternoon over eastern and southern Utah. The air mass remains very dry over Utah and Nevada, with single-digit relative humidities across most elevations. Tomorrow the winds die down a bit as the area of high pressure expands just a bit further northward, and so no high-risk triggers have been issued. Winds will remain light with continued low relative humidities over much of the southern and central Great Basin. On Saturday, the high-pressure ridge is pushed a little bit further eastward over the eastern Great Basin as a shortwave trough moves into the Pacific Northwest. This will bring warmer temperatures to the eastern Great Basin, but will also bring a chance for some very isolated thunderstorms, mainly to portions of central and southwest Idaho. Temperatures will be back in the mid-90s in Boise and Salt Lake by Saturday, with continued low relative humidities. Not much precipitation is expected in the next 3 days. On Sunday, that weak area of low pressure scoots through the eastern Great Basin, which may result in some isolated higher elevation thunderstorms over the Utah mountains and up into western Wyoming. No high-risk triggers have been issued for this event yet. However, we'll be watching it closely and may put some in over the next few days. Some drying returns for Monday as the moisture is pushed off to the east. And on Tuesday, the high-pressure ridge really starts to strengthen over the Great Basin. And by Wednesday, it looks like that high pressure starts to form over the Utah-Colorado border. Looks like it may start to turn into that Four Corners high and begin to draw up some moisture into the southwest. The second half of the forecast period will be dry for pretty much the entire geographic area, with little precipitation expected. As we look into the extended forecast for the second week in July, we'll begin to see some of that moisture moving up into the southwest U.S. We'll be watching this moisture very carefully to see if and when we expect some of that to move into the Great Basin and what the timing might be like. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.